The next few months at Lakeside Prep brought both growth and challenge for Darnell, as he continued to navigate a world so different from the one he grew up in. Despite his initial struggles to adapt, he had slowly begun to find his rhythm. Yet, as the semester pressed on, the weight of balancing his two worlds grew heavier. One of Darnell's biggest struggles was chemistry. Though he'd impressed his teacher, Ms. Reynolds, with his determination, the advanced labs and complicated concepts often left him feeling overwhelmed. His classmates, many of whom had tutors or parents with advanced degrees, seemed to breeze through the material. "How's it going, Darnell?" Taylor asked one afternoon during study group. He looked up from his notes, a frustrated crease on his forehead. "I'm trying, but it's like I'm always 2 steps behind. I didn't even know what a Bunsen burner was before coming here." Taylor smiled sympathetically. "It's not just about catching up. You're learning to think in a new way, and that takes time." Encouraged, Darnell kept at it. Nights at the kitchen table became a ritual. Mia would sit across from him, working on her elementary school assignments while he tackled advanced equations. Sometimes, their mom joined them, bringing coffee and quiet support. One night, as Darnell was solving a particularly challenging equation, his mother said, "I've seen you grow more these past few months than ever before. Don't give up, baby. We're proud of you, no matter what." Her words stayed with him. He might not have the resources his peers did, but he had something just as valuable: determination and the unwavering support of his family. Bridging two worlds. Darnell had started to notice how different his life at Lakeside was from his life back home. His classmates talked about weekend trips to ski lodges and summer internships at their parents' firms. Darnell, meanwhile, spent his weekends helping Mr. Pete with book deliveries or working odd jobs to make sure his family had enough. One Friday, Christopher, his chemistry partner, invited him to a party. "It's just a few of us," Christopher said. "You should come. It'll be fun." Darnell hesitated. The idea of spending time outside school with his classmates felt both exciting and intimidating, but he'd been trying to fit in, and this seemed like a good opportunity. When he arrived at Christopher's house that evening, he was awestruck. The sprawling estate had a long driveway lined with lanterns, and the sound of laughter and music filled the air. Inside, he saw classmates lounging in oversized leather chairs, holding drinks, and talking about topics Darnell couldn't quite relate to. "Hey, Darnell, glad you made it," Christopher called, waving him over. Darnell forced a smile, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he didn't belong. Conversations about designer brands and exotic vacations felt alien. When someone asked him what his family did, he hesitated before replying, "My mom's a cleaner. She's amazing at what she does." There was an awkward silence before the topic shifted. Later that night, Darnell excused himself and left early. As he walked home, he couldn't stop replaying the evening in his mind. He'd wanted to fit in, but moments like these reminded him of just how wide the gap was between his life and theirs. Community connections. Back in his neighborhood, Darnell found solace in familiar faces. Mr. Pete had become not just an employer but a mentor. On Saturday mornings, they would sit together after moving books, sharing stories over tea. "You're doing good work, son," Mr. Pete said one morning. "But remember, it's not just about where you're going. It's about who you're bringing with you." Darnell thought about those words often. One afternoon, while walking home, he saw a group of younger boys playing basketball in the park. Among them was Jamal, the boy he'd encouraged to look into the William Carter Foundation. "Hey, Jamal," Darnell called, waving him over. "What's up, Darnell?" Jamal asked, dribbling the ball. "How's school?" Jamal shrugged. "It's all right. I've been thinking about what you said, though. That Carter thing. You think they'd take me?" "I don't think," Darnell replied. "I know. You've got talent, Jamal. You just need someone to believe in you. And I do." The younger boy grinned. "All right, I'll give it a shot." Moments like these reminded Darnell of why he was working so hard. He wasn't just paving a path for himself, he was lighting the way for others. 2. Pushing through adversity. As the school year progressed, Darnell faced new challenges. Lakeside's annual science fair was approaching, and participation was mandatory. While other students partnered up quickly, Darnell struggled to find someone willing to work with him. "Guess I'll go solo," he thought, trying not to feel discouraged. He decided to create a project on renewable energy, a topic he'd always been curious about but hadn't had the resources to explore. With Mr. Pete's encouragement, Darnell gathered materials from thrift shops and online marketplaces, piecing together a solar-powered water purifier. The night before the fair, he stayed up late putting the finishing touches on his project. His mother walked into the kitchen, her eyes widening at the sight of wires and panels spread across the table. "What's all this?" she asked. "It's for the science fair," Darnell explained. "If it works, it'll purify water using sunlight. Cheap and effective." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "You're going to blow them away. I just know it." The next day, Darnell presented his project with pride. Though it wasn't as polished as some of the other entries, it stood out for its ingenuity and purpose. When the judges announced the winners, Darnell was shocked to hear his name called for second place. "Your work shows heart," one judge said, shaking his hand. "Keep at it. ####a glimmer of hope." The success at the science fair gave Darnell a boost of confidence, but it also brought unexpected attention. Local newspapers picked up the story, highlighting his journey from East Side to Lakeside Prep. For the first time, Darnell's community saw him not just as a kid trying to make it out, but as a symbol of what was possible. "You're famous now," Mia teased one evening, holding up a copy of the article. Darnell laughed. "Not famous, just trying to make a difference." But the recognition came with challenges. Some of his old friends accused him of leaving them behind, while others, like Marcus, dismissed his success as luck. "You think you're better than us now, don't you?" Marcus sneered one afternoon. Darnell met his gaze steadily. "I don't think I'm better than anyone, but I do think we all deserve better." Looking ahead. As summer approached, Darnell began thinking about the future. The William Carter Foundation had opened doors he never imagined, but he knew the journey was far from over. College applications loomed, and the pressure to succeed weighed heavily on his shoulders. One evening, as he sat on the roof of their building, he felt a familiar presence beside him. It was Mia, carrying 2 mugs of hot chocolate. "What's on your mind?" she asked, handing him a mug. Darnell smiled faintly. "Everything. School, college, the neighborhood. It feels like there's so much riding on this." "You'll figure it out," Mia said confidently. "You always do." Her faith in him was both comforting and humbling. For her, for their mom, and for the kids like Jamal. Darnell knew he couldn't stop now. The bigger picture. By the end of the year, Darnell had not only earned top grades, but also a sense of belonging at Lakeside Prep. He wasn't just the scholarship kid anymore. He was a leader, a mentor, and a bridge between two worlds. When Mr. Carter asked him to speak at a foundation event, Darnell hesitated, unsure of what to say. "Just tell your story," Mr. Carter encouraged. "You'd be surprised how many people need to hear it." Standing at the podium that evening, Darnell looked out at the crowd. He saw his mom and Mia in the front row, their faces glowing with pride. Taking a deep breath, he began, "I'm not here because I'm special. I'm here because people believed in me. My mom, my sister, my community. And now it's my turn to believe in others. To show them that where you come from doesn't have to define where you're going." The applause was thunderous. But what stayed with Darnell most were the conversations afterward. Parents, students, and even donors approached him, inspired by his journey. As the night ended, Darnell stood outside, looking up at the stars. For the first time in a long time, he felt not just hope but certainty. The road ahead would be long and challenging, but he was ready to face it, one step at a time.